Hey guys, it's Lori Lowe and welcome to my Sacred Binge. I'm really excited to give you another episode of this great podcast. I'm learning so much as I'm putting this all together, and I'm enjoying all the feedback I'm getting on the Facebook page. We're going to talk more about that, but my goal of this whole program is that I want to be able to help people take away the shame and the stigma of being a binge eater and really explore the episodes of binging or the feelings about being a binge eater in a sacred way. The idea is if we look at it closely and we take away the shame, we can start to not only change that behavior, but see that there's just nothing wrong with us. As a matter of fact, there are all kinds of things lined up against us that don't make it easy to feel good about ourselves in the society we live in right now. Okay, I'm off my soapbox a little bit, but I have this really cool article I want to share with you. And this is an article that was published in the National Library of Medicine. It was a whole paper that was published by Robert H. Lustig. And the name of the article is Ultra-Processed Food, addictive, toxic, and ready for regulation. And the author in this case is really setting forth the basis to regulate processed foods and specifically sugar additives to foods, because as a national health risk, in the same way that tobacco and alcohol and other dangerous substances have been regulated or controlled in terms of our ability to consume them as regular people trying to feed ourselves. So really good article. I'll provide a link to the whole article in this post, but there's a couple things I wanna pop forward to. Okay, where is it? So there's several sections in this, but the one that I really wanna, a couple that I really wanna go over with you is that based on data and research, obesity is a marker of the potential for what they call non-communicable diseases, meaning metabolic disease, diabetes, thyroid problems, blood pressure problems, heart disease, all that kind of stuff, these kind of metabolic disorders. So, but it is not the cause of it. Instead, there's a very good argument here to say that it is the foods that we eat that increase the potential for those metabolic disorders. And, you know, gaining weight is just one of the side effects of that. It is not the cause of the effect. It is an indicator that there's metabolic disorders going on in the body. That is so huge for me because I grew up thinking that if I just stopped eating crap, as my mother used to say, and if I just lost weight, my health would be great. But that's not true. There are people who are very, very thin who have metabolic disorders. There are people that are very, very large that are completely fit and healthy and have gorgeous labs every time they take them. That is the quality of the food that we eat is the cause of these disorders. Ultra-processed food, defined as industrial formulations, typically with 5 or more ingredients, is the category of food that drives these types of diseases, such as obesity, diabetes, heart disease, and cancer. Again, obesity is not the cause of it, even though today's society or today's healthcare community will tell you that being obese is what creates that and being overweight is not healthy for you. That's not it. It is a symptom of this very, very dangerous food additive and processed food industry that creates this wide range of metabolic disorders, including being overweight. In particular, added sugar, which is any fructose containing sweetener such as sucrose, high fructose corn syrup, maple syrup, honey, agave, is the prevalent, insidious, and egregious component of ultra-processed foods that drives the risk. So let me read this to you. Recent revelations in the popular literature have alluded to the addictiveness of the Western diet, driving excessive consumption. There is an overlap between obesity and the addiction pathways of our brain. Some investigators have argued that specific components of processed food, and in particular those in what are called hyper-engineered or fast foods, are addictive in a manner similar to cocaine and heroin. So the point that this author is trying to make is that food addiction is really food additive addiction, and added sugar is a food additive. The food industry will argue that, you know, sugar is a food, but added sugar is so highly processed and changed from its original molecular structure that it becomes an additive, not a food source. So here is kind of the argument for that. They talk about sugar clearly meets the requirements of tolerance and dependence when it is highly processed. For example, coca leaves, even today, are medicinal in Bolivia, yet cocaine is a drug and it's regulated. Opium poppies are also medicinal and are used that way, but morphine, the highly processed version of opium poppies, is a drug and it is also regulated. Caffeine is found in coffee, yet concentrated caffeine is a drug and it's regulated. It's used in medical treatments. In ancient times, sugar was a spice. Then it became a condiment. Now it is highly purified and it is a drug. Refined sucrose is the same compound found in fruit, but the fiber has been removed and it has been crystallized for purity. This process of purification has turned sugar from food into drug. Like these other addictive consumables, it can be present in low dose in nature and not exert toxic effects. But when purified and added to food, it becomes addictive. Okay. So I hope you found this enlightening. I hope it makes you think about what it means to be a binge eater, that it is not something you need to be ashamed of, and society should not be blaming you for having a problem with overeating highly processed and sugary foods. It's because we've been given this additive in our diet that is absolutely addictive and has a crazy, crazy response in our brain. So enough to think about today. I look forward to your comments on this one, guys, and have a great day today.